I have decided something. What have you decided? I have decided
that
when we're born, we have a mommy and daddy, right? And then when we grow up and get married, we have children of our own. And then our children grow up and get married and have children. And so on and so on. So it's very important and very fun also to have sex.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hey there, this is Miranda from Interesting Sex, a podcast about who, how, where, and why we fuck. Thanks for being here. When you have a second, I have to say, please rate, review, subscribe. You'll be entered in as well if you do those things to win a prize that's super sexy. Today I'm really excited we have a guest. Her name is Quinn. She's interesting for this show because she's actually asexual, which means she doesn't have a sex drive at all, but she's also very interesting with her sex. So I thought it'd be a really good time and a different opportunity to talk to somebody who is on the other end of the spectrum about not even caring if she has sex. So we're going to learn a lot about her sex that she has, and about how to prepare for an orgy. I think that's cool. Let's open our ears, our hearts, and our holes and welcome Quinn.
Hello.
Hi, is this Quinn?
Yes, this is me.
Hi, Quinn. This is Miranda. I'm calling from Interesting Sex.
Hello.
Hi.
I was expecting your call.
Oh, good. I'm so happy you were available today. I've been excited to talk to you.
Yay. This will be fun.
Yeah, it will. First of all, tell me who you are.
I am a woman. I'm pansexual. I'm ace. And I'm poly.
Okay. Well,
I know that's a lot of different things. Stop it. Sorry, my cat has decided that he needs attention right now.
Well, what would that describe your cat as?
Jerk.
Sure.
But most cats are jerks.
That's a good point. Okay, so let's go over what these things mean, because I don't think I know what they are. So why don't you just talk to me about what each part of your sexuality terms means to you?
Oh. So pansexuality is having attraction without being defined by gender. So I am attracted to men, women, non-binary people, because for me it's more of who you are as an individual person versus your parts. A lot of that has to go into, with me being ace, I don't have my own sex drive. There are maybe 4 people that I've looked at and I'm like, oh, I want to do the nasty with them. As a first thought. Usually it's, oh, I'd like to snuggle that person. They look like they'd be fun. Like a nice cuddle.
Yeah.
Bad cat.
So how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so you're 30 and you've seen about 4 people, that just giving people perspective, that you've seen 4 people you probably want to have sex with, and you are a grown woman.
Right. Well, see, this is where it's weird. I've had sex with 15 people, but it wasn't as, I guess lust isn't something that I get. Lust and horny aren't some things that are part of my dynamic of life.
You went over pansexual, which is being interested in people for who they are and not their sexual parts. And you went over ace.
Oh, I forgot the poly.
You haven't got to the poly yet. No, I've got you on track.
I'm a firm believer of polynogamy. I love, I guess the easiest way to put it. You can have multiple romantic connections without it being sexual. And usually that's what I have. And if they're into the mood and I'm into them, then yes, we'll have sex. I can even initiate sex, even though I don't have the drive for it, because I understand what other people like. People like physical contact. People like touch.
And you like physical contact and touch. You like to cuddle.
Yeah, I like cuddling. Cuddling's nice. That's about my favorite thing. For me, with sex and my sex drive, I like foreplay and aftercare. Those are what matter more to me than anything else. Mm-hmm. The bump and uglies part can be missed or blocked out.
So being asexual is what ace means, right? You said it's you don't have a sex drive at all.
Right. Without it being from a medical condition. there are a lot of people, psychiatrists and medical professionals, that still have asexuality listed as a mental health disorder because of the weird perceptions that society has on sex.
Okay.
To most people, sex is the most important thing that you could have in the be-all to end-all. No, I'm good.
So you've only seen a few people that you've thought, like, I would have sex with that person, but do you feel attracted to people when you see them? Are you like, oh,
yeah,
that person's attractive? Like, how does that feel?
Well, it's like that person's attractive. There are certain features that I find fascinating more than anything else. Strong jaw lines, things like people that have butt chins. I think butt chins are adorable. I know it's technically supposed to be called a cleft chin, but I like calling it a butt chin better.
Right. I like that.
Large eyes and pudgy guys, like, in girls. Like, I don't know. When puberty hit, you know how you have your first crushes and you're just like, oh, I like that feeling a little bit. Sort of kind of like on celebrities. Mine were 3 people in 3 completely different genres. The first one I realized was Kevin Smith, as in Silent Bob.
Okay.
Marilyn Manson, and Dennis Rodman.
Oh, those are 3 different people.
Yeah, I still try to figure that one out. I think it was when Marilyn Manson was wearing the prosthetics where he didn't necessarily have genitalia, but he had boobs, and I really liked that look.
That makes sense. When you are in a situation with somebody that you know is about to have sex happen, do you get wet?
Yes.
Okay, so your body reacts.
My body reacts more than my mind does. I'm actually someone that is a super wetter.
Okay.
Because I think my body overstimulates. Because I don't have the desire to touch myself or to touch. So, like, the slightest touch is usually enough to overstimulate me. Which is fine. I do still remember the first time I learned that I could squirt. And I had already been sexually active for 8 years.
Yeah.
With one partner who had no idea what he was doing. And I had no idea what I was doing. So
those are the best partners, right?
Yeah, lots of books. When I thought that there was something wrong because I wasn't as sexual as my friends were, like, I started reading things. It was just that my friends would complain about being horny. I'm like, I don't get horny. Oh, you're supposed to get horny. Okay. Maybe if we have more sex, it'll get better and I'll get horny. It didn't.
So what was your first sex experience like?
I was 14. He was 17. We skipped school and got caught after by his mom.
So where did you go? How did it happen? I want the actual, like, story. I want the sex part.
Oh, the actual sex part.
I want the actual sex part.
Awkward.
That's what I want to know.
Awkward and uncoordinated and just so weird. And also tried to give my first official blowjob at that point and discovered that I don't have a gag reflex.
So you were good at giving blowjobs?
No, I was awful.
Oh, you gave?
Absolutely. I gave my first, it was awful. He said it was awful and tried to teach me how to do things that wouldn't be like sucking on a popsicle, because that's what I was doing.
Right.
I was treating it like it was a popsicle. And
yeah, why wouldn't you?
That's not what feels good. And at that point, I had never seen a porn either, so, like, I didn't know what it was supposed to look like or what you were really supposed to do other than putting it in your mouth and sucking on.
Did he have to talk you into it, or you just, like, knew it was something that you were going to do because you didn't really care if you did it or not?
I had planned it. Like, I had me and my best friend in 9th grade. We went to Planned Parenthood, got on birth control a month before, made sure that birth control was working, made sure had plenty of condoms, and just tried stuff. It's just, when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, like, he understood foreplay a little bit, but he didn't know the anatomy of me, and continued to not know the anatomy of me for the entirety of our relationship.
It's interesting because if you don't really masturbate, it's hard to tell other people
explaining
what you like, because if somebody does something to you that you like but you don't really know what it is, it's not until you really start to discover your own body that then you're like, oh, this is what I like. So if you're not into that, then it might take you and other people longer to figure you out, because you don't know how to tell them what to do. Yeah. Once you start getting into a sexual scenario with a partner or a relationship, do you get turned on, or it just never really, like, your body reacts?
I can get turned on. It's one of those things where I need external stimuli. I'm not going to get turned on my lonesome. Like, I don't have the desire to seek out porn or anything like that, or even anything remotely sexual. Like, I can look at art and nudity as things as just nudity. That's just the naked human form. I think we all should be naked, but that's a different story. I hate clothes. I really do hate wearing clothes. And only wear them because I have to.
What about your parents and growing up? Did you feel like that they had a good sexual relationship, or that they might have had these same kind of issues that you had, or how do you feel like that might correlate for you?
My parents talked to us about sex a lot, both of my parents, my mother and my father. When I was growing, my older sister's 9 years older than me. So when I was being a nebby 6-year-old, while she was getting the talk, I got the talk too, because that was actually her refresher course. They talked about sex and sexuality all the time. Like, it was a weird thing to me. Well, because I didn't realize it wasn't normal until I was around other people's parents. I'm like, your parents didn't talk to you about sex? They even told us about other sex acts if we asked. I was the pervert child that asked, but I was also the tomboy. So they also used to tell me that they loved me whether I liked men, women, or fuzzy animals. But if I liked fuzzy animals, I couldn't pet the cat anymore by myself. My dad threw that part in. I didn't understand that joke until I was like 17. I'm like, you made a bestiality joke to your kid. Who does that? He's just like, it was funny. Like, it's not funny.
That is funny. That is funny. Like, looking back from, like, his point of view, it probably was hilarious. That's really awkward. But speaking of that, you actually do now make costumes, right?
Well, when I was in special effects school and needed money and to build up my portfolio, I actually made pony play tails from butt plugs.
Okay.
That I built attachment piece to the back so that it would have an actual tail that fit in between the cheeks.
Fine.
I didn't know what pony play was when I was making those and had to look that up on FetLife.
I've never heard of pony play. I've seen the tail.
FetLife is... I like FetLife. It's like Facebook for kink. And was introduced to that after my first relationship ended, because I'm like, maybe I've been having the wrong kind of sex, and that's why it's not as amazing as people make it sound.
So what is pony play? They just put the tails in?
Pony play, it's somewhere between the weird parts of the furry fandom that you hear about on the news all the time, or the internet, and leather. Because a lot of people actually dress up as ponies.
Okay.
With the bridle and saddles and stuff.
Gotcha. And then they have the tail butt plug. So what other things do you make now?
I make cosplay stuff, burlesque clothes, lingerie, a lot of body harnesses. I specialize in plus size because I'm plus size. And if I don't sell it, usually I keep it for me.
Nice.
It's a benefit.
That's cool. Yeah. So speaking about poly, what does that kind of relationship look like for you? Are you in a relationship with two other people, or you just date people that are in relationships? What does that look like?
It depends. Like right now, I just have my primary, who is also my dom, which was a new thing for me when he and I got together, because I identify as a switch. I'm not entirely submissive and I'm not entirely dominant, but with him, I'm actually just submissive, which was confusing the very first time. I was actually mad at myself the first time I submitted to him involuntarily. We had just finished messing around, we were cuddling, we're in my apartment, and he had asked me to get him something to drink. And before I thought about it, I had already gotten him a drink, like made him an alcoholic drink. and swore at myself. I'm like, mother, because I don't really drink. I'm like, really? Really, brain? We're going to just agree? No sass, just do it? This is bull. I'm made of sarcasm. I can't help it.
How often do you see him? Is it sexual every time you see him, or you just do
No.
submissive acts for him when you're around him?
Submissive acts, just around him.
Like, what does he like?
He likes nipple play for himself. Like, he likes nipple stimulation. He likes rough sex, which is what I like, too. A lot of it is hair stuff. Like, I will wash his hair if he asks me to, comb it out, brush it, braid it up. It looks silly every time I do it because I'm not a braider, and he's white, so my cornrows look even funnier on
That's
him.
funny.
But he has hair that goes to the middle of his back.
So y'all will just be like watching TV, and he'll be like, "Will you play with my nipples?"
No, that's usually part of sex, like foreplay, sex stuff.
Okay.
Not a lot of the dom sub relationship for us is him making me do not self-care, but things that I don't really want to do.
Okay.
Kind of like I can be incredibly messy with my craft stuff, and he'll make me clean it, sometimes in heels. Or
like bossing you around your own house.
Yes. Or can rewards for exercising when I don't want to exercise. Things like that.
What are your rewards?
Usually it's junk food.
Okay. Exercise and then eat junk. I know, right?
Well, but it's not real junk food anymore. It's like food that I don't usually eat.
Right.
Or make.
So do you think he really is being good to you because he wants you to be healthy and have a clean environment?
Yeah. Like, it's just making sure that I'm okay. Making sure that I listen to my mental health, that I actually eat and drink. Things like that. Not everybody's dom-sub relationship is like that. Sometimes it's discipline. Like, I have a gentleman that I named Hawk. He needs someone to discipline him.
So you are his dom?
Yeah, without being... I'm not a sexual dom for him at all. Like, it's not sexual. It is someone to tell him that he needs to do things and to sort of berate him when he doesn't do what he needs to do.
Okay. When you are being submissive with your current partner, what do you mentally think that you get out of it? Or you just like having him there? What do you do it for?
I enjoy it. Like, it's just kind of a safe space kind of feeling. It just feels comfortable. And sometimes it can be the whole 1950s housewife kind of thing. Sometimes. Occasionally.
You orgasm?
Yes.
And you squirt. You already mentioned that.
Yes.
Do you squirt every time you orgasm?
No. It's not hard to make me squirt. Like, I'm one of those people that squirts from clitoral stimulation.
So it's an outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have had, like, ridiculous wetness happen from vaginal penetration, but it's hit or miss. It just depends on how much stimuli is going on.
I want to know, with the person you're seeing now, does he have another relationship, or what makes that poly?
No, he doesn't, but I used to.
Okay, because you were a dom in the other relationship and a sub with him.
No, he's not. That's not a sexual relationship at all. That's a completely different.
Okay.
No, that's just a mental relationship. I was part of a triad recently where I was dating a married couple, and that didn't work out very well. It's one of those things where being a bisexual woman in a triad is referred to as a unicorn, and people try and get you to be the filler in the things that are missing in their relationship, and it works, but it only works if there's actual communication between everyone and everyone's needs are being met. I felt like a new toy.
So your needs weren't being met?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you could have communicated better, or do you think they, as a couple, should have approached you and talked to you more clearly and openly?
Well, when I would approach clearly and openly, it wasn't always acted on. So it was just like, oh, cool. I told you that I don't really want touched all the time. You're going to keep doing it? cool, I'm not going to come over for a while. That kind of thing. There's a difference between personal space and being an object. When you start to feel like an object, you're just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Right. I'm glad you have those boundaries for yourself, because if it's not serving you, then,
why do it?
Then don't do it. Does the in and out of sex annoy your vagina?
No.
Okay. I was curious about that. So why don't you tell me a story about a really fun sex story that you've had?
And this one guy who owned a skateboard shop, the one time we were messing around, he was really slow, and I was blowing him under the counter, and customers came in, and I didn't stop because I wanted to see how he would handle it. So I started doing extra stuff while blowing him with people there. And then the people decided to stay and kind of BS around and talk, because they were people that come to skate shop a lot. So that was funny and fun.
That is a very good sex story. That is really ballsy.
I mean, he owned the place, so what's the worst that could happen?
Right, he's not going to get fired from it.
Right.
So, okay, this is something that I like to ask. I'll be interested in your answer. It's one of the things I end my questions with. But what would your sexual bucket list, if you got to do, or for you had to do one crazy thing before you die sexually?
I got to do one of them already. I always wanted to have a threesome. Even before I started having sex, I always wanted to have a threesome. That was something that I felt I needed to do. I do need to have one with 2 dudes and me. I've had one with 2 girls and a guy. I want to do 2 dudes and me at one time. Just for the experience. And to see, I don't know if I want to be a part of an orgy, because that seems messy and sticky. The potential of mess and stickiness and planning that has to go ahead with orgy. I want one, but I don't want one.
Right.
So I don't want to have to do the cleanup stuff or the prep work. Because you have to have, waterproof sheets and wet wipes available and condoms and all the drug testing and things before. Not drug. STD. That kind of stuff. Making sure there's plenty of lube and spermicides around. Condoms.
I never thought about planning for an orgy.
And, making sure that you have, dental dams.
But if everyone has STD checks, would you still
I still like to be safe.
Yeah.
I don't like dental dams.
Yeah, they seem really weird.
They're weird. Sometimes when you're eating girls, you need to put your tongue in the hole.
Correct.
And with the dental dam, you can't.
You can't. Well, I have to applaud you on the fact that you are not even really that interested in sex, but you go through everything that you can to always be prepared to have safe sex when you do have sex.
It's a good thing to be prepared. It's like Boy Scouts. Always be prepared.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not seeking this out. But when it happens, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to protect myself.
That I like to do that I don't have at my disposal right now is bondage and rope play. I adore rope play. There's just something nice about having a nice satin rope tied decoratively around you. It's just setting up my bed for it.
Do you have to be tied to the bed, though? Couldn't you just be tied to yourself, or?
Oh yeah, I can tie myself, which I do with certain ropes, but I like being strapped down to the bed. That's one of the more submissive things and trust things that I'm willing to do. Because when you're tied up and blindfolded and gagged, literally, usually not completely gagged, but you're restrained enough that you can't actually move. You have no control.
Right. So how do you
just give control? Safe words.
But if you're getting gagged, do you tap them or
Yeah. We had a so did you ever watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit? You know the knock thing that he does? The dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually my bondage safe sentence. I'm tapping out. I do that. It's also how I knock on patients' doors at work.
It doesn't make you giggle every time?
Nope, because I forget that until I do it, and I'm just like, oh, Lord, why?
Have you ever had to tap out before?
Yes.
What puts you past your limit?
I had to pee. The last time I had to tap out was just because I had to pee.
Okay.
There was tickling involved. Because I'm not ticklish anywhere other than my bits, and my partner thought that was hilarious. If you don't let me out now, I'm going to pee on you. I don't want to pee on you, because then we have to do laundry.
He's like, I don't care, pee. And you're like, no.
No, he wasn't. When I said I have to pee, there was freedom given. Because, again, no one wants to have to stay up later because you have to wash the sheets in the bed because you made your partner pee themselves. That's not sexy.
Right.
It's just mean.
But other than that, you usually do the best that you can to be submissive when you're in that position.
Only if it calls for it. There are some people where you can tell while you're having sex if they want you to be more dominant and in control, or if they want you to be submissive.
And then sometimes when you're your switch, you can take it the other way and really enjoy that and let go of your control and your worries and let them tell you what to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Like, it's a liberating feeling.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how you think that being the dom would be liberating, but actually if you're being a sub, you have, not only is it kind of scary and trusting. The sub has actually
the power.
Yeah, because they can only go as far as you'll let them. So at the end of the day, you let them do that.
Right.
And so they're lucky.
Yeah, and if you don't listen to your sub, that's just abuse. Occasionally there are some doms it's just abusive. It's not a loving, controlled environment. It is about dominance and assertion.
That's a really good thing to bring up and bring awareness to. That these things are only okay when done in a safe space for both people, that they're both heard and being met in their needs at the same time. Well, Quinn, I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for your openness and for being here and for telling us about your sexual journey.
Thanks.
And I wish you the best in getting tied up in your bondage strapped down to your bed. I see that for you. I see that for you in 2018.
It shall be done again.
Cool.
Alrighty, you have a good night.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling. Bye.
Welcome, bye.
What a cute heart. You can tell she's just such a kind, loving person. It's kind of funny that there's some people out there that want to have sex so bad and can't get laid. And then there's some people that don't even really care about having sex, but then they get laid a lot. Anyway, I hope that when she gets sex, that she gets her aftercare and she gets all the snuggles in the world, because if anyone deserves it, I'm pretty sure it's Quinn. I'm so happy she came on to talk to us today. Guys, if you think you have a good sex life and you want to tell me about it and you think the way you fuck is interesting, check me out at InterestingSexPodcast.com. Send me a message, send me ideas of what you want to have on the show. If you have questions for me or any of my guests, feel free to message those to me as well. InterestingSexPodcast.com. I have a Twitter. I have Instagram, trying to do the things. Also check out the website to find some super sexy gear. Maximus Leatherworks has created a flogger just for Interesting Sex Podcast, so go check that out. Thank you guys for being here with me. Let's remember that 10% of profits from this podcast helps to stop human and sex trafficking. We're very lucky to get to have sex with who and how we want, and we want to reach out to help those who never get that choice. Let's do what we can as a community. Thanks y'all for being here. I can't wait for next week to see what the pussy drags in. Thanks to 41 for this fucking awesome song. We're happy that a band like you exists. You're the perfect match for us.
Well, it's a doobity-doo. Yes, it's a doobity-doo. Well, it's a doobity-doo. Yes, it's a doobity-doo. I mean a doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doobie-doo. Yeah! Yeah! Oh, yeah! I don't get it. Oh, yeah! I don't get it.
I promise I will not judge any person